I didn't wake up one day and decide to waste my teenage years. It didn't happen in one big mistake. It happened slowly, quietly, almost invisibly. One normal day after another. One excuse after another. And that's the dangerous part. When something destroys your life loudly, you notice it. But when it destroys your life silently, you call it normal. That's what happened to me. When I was a teenager, I truly believed I had unlimited time. Every day felt cheap. Hours felt disposable. I kept telling myself the same lies again and again. I'll start tomorrow. I'll get serious next year. Right now is not the right time. Others are ahead because they started early. I'll catch up later. I treated time like it was something that belonged to me forever. I didn't understand that time doesn't wait for permission. It doesn't slow down because you're confused. It doesn't care about your comfort. It just moves forward, silently taking pieces of your life with it. Back then, wasting a day didn't feel like a loss. It felt harmless. Just one more episode, one more scroll, one more game, one more night staying up late doing nothing important. I thought these were small things. I didn't realize small things repeated every day don't stay small. They become habits, and habits become identity. I also confused comfort with happiness. That mistake alone ruined more years than I can count. I wasn't truly happy, but I was comfortable. And comfort is addictive. Comfort doesn't ask questions. Comfort doesn't challenge you. Comfort tells you that you deserve rest even when you haven't earned it. So I chased comfort. I avoided anything that felt difficult, boring, or uncomfortable. Studying felt hard, so I avoided it. Building skills felt slow, so I postponed it. Training my body felt painful, so I ignored it. I told myself life was meant to be enjoyed. But what no one tells you is that enjoyment without purpose eventually turns into emptiness. The more comfortable I became, the weaker my mind got. My tolerance for effort dropped. My attention span collapsed. My hunger to become something meaningful slowly died, and I didn't even notice it happening. Another thing that destroyed me was letting my emotions control my actions. If I felt motivated, I worked. If I didn't, I stopped. If I felt tired, I quit. If I felt bored, I escaped. I believed feelings were instructions. I didn't understand that feelings are temporary, unreliable, and often misleading. Discipline doesn't wait for motivation. Discipline acts even when motivation is dead. But I didn't act like that. I waited to feel ready. I waited to feel confident. I waited to feel inspired. The problem is that feeling rarely comes. And while I was waiting, days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into years. And my life stayed in the same place, while time kept moving forward. I also took important things lightly, especially school, skills, and health. I thought grades didn't matter. I thought skills could be learned later. I thought my body would always work the same way. I destroyed my sleep without caring. I ate garbage and called it normal. I avoided physical effort and told myself it didn't matter. I didn't understand that your teenage years are when your brain is sharpest, when habits are easiest to build, and when discipline has the highest return. By the time I realized this, others were already far ahead, not because they were smarter than me, not because they were more talented, but because they were serious earlier. They respected time when I wasted it. They embraced discomfort when I ran from it. They built habits while I built excuses. One of the most damaging things I did was blindly following the crowd. Everyone around me was wasting time, so it felt normal. Everyone was lazy, so I felt justified. Everyone avoided responsibility, so I did the same. I didn't ask myself whether this life was right. I only checked whether it was common. And common is dangerous, because most people live average lives, precisely because they follow average behavior. I copied people who had no clear direction, no discipline, no long-term vision. We laughed, wasted time, and called it freedom. But freedom without control isn't freedom. It's drift. And when you drift long enough, you wake up somewhere you never planned to be. The pain didn't come immediately. That's what makes wasting your teens so dangerous. There's no instant punishment, no alarm, no warning sign. The pain comes later. It comes quietly. It comes when you see people younger than you doing better. When you realize you're behind and you don't know how it happened. When you feel regret but can't point to one single moment where everything went wrong. Regret is strange. It doesn't scream. It whispers. Late at night, when you're alone, when distractions fade, it asks one question again and again. What if you had tried? What if you had taken it seriously? What if you had started earlier? That question hurts more than failure. Because failure at least means you tried. Regret means you didn't. The hardest realization for me was understanding that no one ruined my teens except me. Not school, not society, not circumstances. Me, my choices, my excuses, my lack of discipline. That realization hurts, but it's also powerful. Because the moment you accept responsibility, you gain control. If you're still young and listening to this, understand something clearly. Your teenage years are not just for fun. They are the foundation of your entire life. This is when your habits are formed. This is when your mind is trained. This is when your tolerance for effort is built. What you do now decides whether life will be hard by choice or hard by force. Life will be hard either way. The difference is whether you choose hard now or suffer harder later. You don't need motivation. Motivation fades. You need awareness. You don't need confidence. Confidence comes after action. You need consistency. You don't need talent. Talent without discipline dies early. You need structure. You need standards. You need to do things even when you don't feel like it. Start small, but start now. Fix your sleep. Control your screen time. Study even when it's boring. Train your body even when it's uncomfortable. Build one skill that actually matters. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Perfect moments don't exist. One day you will wake up older, and on that day, motivation won't save you. Regret won't listen to excuses. Time won't come back. The only thing that will matter is whether you respected today when you had the chance. I wasted my teens not because I was weak, but because I was unaware. Now you are aware. Don't let this be just another video you watched and forgot. Don't let these words pass through you without changing something. Let this be a mirror. Let this be a warning. Let this be the moment where your future self doesn't look back with disappointment. The future version of you is watching every decision you make right now. Make sure he's proud. And here's the part that hurts the most. When I was wasting my teens, I didn't feel like a failure. I felt normal. I felt average. I felt like everyone else. And that's the trap. Average behavior feels safe because you're not alone. You're surrounded by people doing the same useless things, thinking the same shallow thoughts, living day to day without direction. No one questions it. No one challenges it. You all quietly agree to stay stuck together. I told myself I was figuring things out, but deep down, I was avoiding responsibility. I was afraid of committing to something and failing, afraid of trying and realizing I wasn't as special as I thought. So instead of risking failure, I chose stagnation. And stagnation is worse than failure, because at least failure teaches you something. Stagnation teaches you nothing except regret. I kept consuming instead of creating, watching instead of building, scrolling instead of thinking. My brain was always busy, but never productive. I trained my mind to seek constant stimulation, instant pleasure, easy dopamine, and slowly, deep focus became impossible. Silence became uncomfortable. Hard work felt unbearable. I didn't realize I was rewiring my brain against my own future. Every time I avoided effort, I told myself it didn't matter. But it mattered. Every skipped study session, Every wasted night, every time I chose distraction over discipline. These weren't isolated choices. They were votes. Votes for the kind of person I was becoming. And I kept voting for weakness without realizing it. The scary thing is, no one stopped me. No one came to save me. Because the world doesn't care if you waste your potential. Society doesn't punish you immediately for being lazy. It lets you slide. It lets you drift. It lets you rot slowly. The punishment comes later, when opportunities disappear, when competition increases, when responsibilities hit, and you realize you're not ready. That's when panic starts. That's when anxiety shows up. Not because life is unfair, but because you're unprepared. I felt that panic. That silent fear that I was behind and didn't know how to catch up. That fear that others had built discipline, while I built excuses. That fear that I had betrayed my own potential. I also wasted time caring about things that never mattered. Opinions, validation, looking cool, fitting in. I adjusted my behavior to please people who weren't going anywhere. I valued short-term approval over long-term growth. And the irony is, the moment you stop chasing approval and start respecting yourself, people respect you more. But I learned that late. Another truth I ignored was that discipline compounds. Small habits done daily create massive gaps over time. When you're young, the gap isn't visible. Everyone looks similar. Everyone seems equal. But years later, that gap becomes brutal. The disciplined ones move forward effortlessly. The undisciplined ones struggle just to survive. Not because life favored some people, but because some people paid the price early. I used to think I needed a big breakthrough to change my life. A big opportunity. A big motivation wave. A big push. That was another lie. Life doesn't change in explosions. It changes in repetitions. In boring routines. In silent consistency. And because I hated boring work, I stayed the same. If you're listening to this right now and you feel uncomfortable, that's good. Discomfort means truth is hitting you. Don't numb it. Don't scroll past it. Sit with it. Ask yourself hard questions. Are you actually building something? Or just passing time? Are you training your mind or just entertaining it? Are you becoming stronger or just older? You don't need to become extreme overnight. You don't need to disappear from the world. But you do need standards. You do need rules for yourself. You do need to do things you don't feel like doing. Because no one builds a powerful life by following their mood. Understand this clearly. Your future will not forgive you for the comfort you choose today. Your future doesn't care how tired you felt, how unmotivated you were, how unfair life seemed. It only reflects the actions you repeated. One day, you will either look back with pride or with regret. And that decision is being made right now, in the smallest moments. When you choose to study or not. When you choose to train or not. When you choose to sleep on time or scroll. When you choose discipline or distraction. I learned this late, but you don't have to. You still have time if you're hearing this. Time is still on your side, but only if you respect it. Use it properly. Don't waste it pretending you're young forever. Youth expires quietly. This isn't about becoming perfect. It's about becoming intentional. About stopping the leak in your life where time is escaping unnoticed. About deciding that you will no longer be careless with your potential. Because potential wasted is heavier than failure. Failure can be fixed. Regret stays. Don't let your teenage years become something you have to explain away later. Don't let them become a lesson you learned too late. Let them be the phase where you built the foundation, even when no one was watching. The world rewards those who prepare early. Be one of them.